All right, let's jump right in. Today we're going to tackle two things that sound, well, pretty much the same. The Audit Charter and the Audit Plan. But they're not even close. And trust me, getting the difference right is absolutely crucial.
So to cut through all the jargon, let's just frame this whole thing with one simple question. Are we talking about a constitution, or are we talking about a game plan? Honestly, if you can wrap your head around that, you've got this. And by the end of this, you'll know exactly which is which.
Okay, so first things first, we have to start with the foundation. You know, the document that basically says, yes, this audit function has the authority to exist and do its job. This is our Constitution.
And there it is, the Audit Charter. That's the constitution of the audit world. It doesn't get bogged down in the nitty-gritty details like what's going to be audited next quarter. Nope. It answers a much, much bigger question. Does the audit function even have the right to do its job? It's all about defining power, authority, and boundaries.
So what does that look like in more, official terms? Well, the Audit Charter is this high-level formal document. Its entire job, its only job really, is to establish the purpose, the authority, and the main responsibilities of the internal audit team for the whole organization.
So let's break down these constitutional powers, shall we? Its main purpose is to legitimize the whole function, to make it official. The focus is totally strategic. It's all about the big why. Why do we even exist? And here's the kicker. The Charter is what gives auditors the right to access everything they need, systems, data, people, you name it. And to make sure they can operate without anyone breathing down their neck, it's approved at the very top, by the Board of Directors. That's what guarantees its independence.
All right, so if the Charter is our Constitution, then what's the audit plan? Good question. This is where we completely switch gears, shifting from defining power to defining action.
You guessed it. The audit plan is the team's game plan for the season. The Constitution says you're allowed to be on the field, but the game plan? That tells you which opponents you're facing, what plays you're going to run, and when you're going to run them. It is all about how that constitutional power gets used in the real world, usually for a specific period, like the coming year.
So officially, we call it a detailed roadmap. And the keywords here are everything: how, when, and what. See, we're not talking high-level strategy anymore. This is boots-on-the-ground, operational detail. It's outlining the specific audits that are actually going to happen.
Yeah, the whole point of the plan is just effective execution. It's totally operational. It answers the real questions: which business units are we auditing? How often are we doing it? Who's on the team for this one? What are the deadlines? All that stuff. The scope, frequency, timelines, it all lives in the plan. And since it's all about aligning with current business objectives, it's approved by the audit committee or senior management.
Okay, so we have our Constitution and we have our game plan. Now let's put them in the ring, head-to-head, for a direct breakdown to make these differences absolutely crystal clear.
At the highest level, it just comes down to this. The Charter is the strategic framework. It's the bedrock. It hardly ever changes. Sure, it gets reviewed annually, but it's built to last. The plan, on the other hand, is all about operational execution. It's a living, breathing document, updated whenever risks and priorities shift.
Let's really drill down here. For purpose, you can see the Charter is all about legitimizing and authorizing, while the plan is about organizing and executing. Makes perfect sense. For focus, the Charter is that big strategic why, and the plan is the practical operational how. Now look at who prepares them. The chief audit executive, the head honcho, drafts the Constitution. But the auditors and managers on the ground, they create the game plan. And finally, the approval process tells the whole story. The board signs off on the Charter to grant independence, while the audit committee approves the plan to make sure it aligns with business goals.
And this is a trap people fall into all the time. So let's be super clear about this. You would never put procedural details or an audit calendar in the Charter. A Constitution doesn't have that level of detail, right? That stuff, the resource allocation, the risk priorities, the detailed timelines, that belongs squarely in the operational audit plan, period.
And hey, for anyone out there studying for something like the CISA exam, listen up, because this is for you. When you see a question with keywords like defines authority, approved by board, or independence, your brain should immediately scream Audit Charter. But if the question mentions scope and frequency, risk-based approach, or approved by the audit committee, you know you're deep in the world of the audit plan. It's like a cheat code for the exam.
So, we've sliced and diced the definitions. But so what? What's the real-world impact here? Why does this distinction actually matter for a successful organization?
And this right here is probably the most important point of all. These two documents are completely codependent. A powerful charter with no plan is like having a superhero with all the powers in the world who just sits on the couch, They have all the authority, but no direction. And a detailed plan without a charter, well, that's a team with an amazing strategy, but they aren't even allowed in the building to execute it. They have direction, but no authority. You absolutely have to have both, the Constitution and the game plan, to get an audit function that's both independent and effective.
So I'll just leave you with this final thought. Every effective audit function has its constitution and its game plan. The real question you should be asking is, are they working together to actually win the game? Because at the end of the day, that's the only measure of success that truly matters.